Marcus never expected his routine supply run to turn into a life or death rescue mission. But when he saw two figures collapsed in the snow during the worst blizzard Kepler for to be had seen in a decade, everything changed. The howling wind tore at his thermal suit as he trudged through waist-deep drifts, his scanner beeping frantically at the rapidly dropping life signs ahead. 20 meters, 15, 10. He could barely see his own hands in front of his face. But he pushed forward because that's what humans do. We don't leave people behind. When he finally reached them, his breath caught. Two women, impossibly beautiful despite being half frozen, with delicate, pointed ears and skin that shimmered faintly even in the dim light of the storm. Aliens, specifically. Seraphians, if he remembered his xenobiology courses correctly. One had silver hair plastered to her face, the other platinum blonde, both dressed in what might have been advanced tactical gear on their homeworld, but offered pathetic protection against Kepler's brutal winter. The silver-haired one's eyes fluttered open, crystalline blue, and filled with terror. "Please," she whispered, her hand reaching for his face with trembling fingers. "My sister. Save my sister first." Marcus didn't waste time arguing. He activated his emergency beacon, knowing his rover was programmed to auto-navigate to his position, then stripped off his outer thermal layer. "I'm saving both of you," he said firmly, wrapping the coat around the platinum blonde, who seemed unconscious. The silver-haired woman tried to protest, tried to push the coat back to him, but he was already lifting her sister in his arms. "Can you walk?" he asked. She nodded, struggling to her feet, and he saw something shift in her expression. Surprise, maybe, or was it admiration? No time to think about it. The rover's headlights cut through the snow like a gift from heaven, and Marcus practically threw himself inside. With both sisters, cranking the heat to maximum, the drive back to his outpost was tense. Marcus kept checking their vitals on his medical scanner while steering with one hand, his mind racing through everything he knew about Seraphian physiology. They were remarkably human-compatible, but hypothermia was hypothermia regardless of species. The silver-haired one stayed conscious, watching him with those intense blue eyes as he worked. "I'm Lyra," she said softly. "This is my sister Nyx. We crashed. Our ship's escape pod malfunctioned during atmospheric entry." Marcus glanced at her through the rearview mirror. "I'm Marcus. Just hold on, both of you. My station has a full medical bay." Lyra's voice was stronger now, warming up. "You gave me your coat. Humans don't have the same thermal regulation we do. You're risking hypothermia yourself." He shrugged, though his teeth were starting to chatter. "Yeah. Well, I've got the rover heat. Your sister needed it more." He saw Lyra's expression change again in the mirror, that same look, but deeper now. Respect, wonder, something else he couldn't quite name. When they finally reached his outpost, a modest but well-equipped research station he'd been manning solo for 6 months, Marcus carried Nyx inside while Lyra followed on shaky legs. He got them both into the medical bay, hooking them up to warming blankets and 4 fluids, his hands moving with practiced efficiency. His father had been a combat medic. Some things were genetic. Nyx's eyes opened slowly, revealing the same crystalline blue as her sister, but with flecks of violet. "Where?" she murmured. "You're safe," Marcus assured her. "Just rest." But Nyx's gaze locked onto him with sudden intensity. "You carried me through the storm. I felt it. Your heartbeat, so steady, so strong." Lyra moved to her sister's side, squeezing her hand. "He saved us, Nyx, both of us." Without hesitation, over the next 3 days, as the blizzard raged outside and the sisters recovered, Marcus learned that saving them had been the easy part. Living with them was going to be the challenge. Lyra was the older sister by 2 years, serious and analytical, with a brilliant mind for engineering. She spent hours studying his station's systems, asking questions about human technology with genuine fascination. "Your species does more with less," she observed one evening, as they sat in the common area. "Seraphian ships have quantum processors that do the thinking for us. Your systems require constant human input, constant problem solving. It must be exhausting." Marcus smiled over his coffee. "It keeps us sharp. We can't rely on our tech doing everything, so we learn to adapt, to improvise." Lyra's eyes seemed to glow brighter. He'd learned that was a Seraphian emotional tell. "That's what makes you remarkable," she said quietly. "You don't just survive. You thrive in conditions that would break most species." Meanwhile, Nyx was the opposite: warm, expressive, artistic. She'd found his small collection of books and devoured them, constantly asking about human culture, emotions, philosophy. Your people write about love like it's a force of nature, she said one afternoon, curled up in the observation lounge with a battered copy of poetry he'd brought from Earth. Like it can overcome impossible odds. Is that really how humans see it? Marcus considered this. Some of us, love, loyalty, hope, these things have pulled humanity through our darkest times. We're a stubborn species. We don't give up on what matters to us. Nix's violet-flecked eyes studied him with an intensity that made his heart skip. You didn't give up on us. Two strangers, aliens. You risked everything. He looked away, uncomfortable with the praise. Anyone would have done the same. No, Lyra interjected from the doorway, where she'd been listening. Most wouldn't. We've traveled to 40 systems, Marcus. I can count on one hand the beings who would sacrifice their safety for strangers of another species without calculating the benefit first. The situation grew more complicated when Marcus realized both sisters were developing feelings for him, different kinds of feelings, perhaps, but feelings nonetheless. Lyra showed it through actions, repairing his malfunctioning water recycler without being asked, optimizing his solar array to increase efficiency by 30%, staying up late to keep him company during his night shifts monitoring the weather station. She expressed care through competence, through making his life easier, through partnership. Nix showed it through words and presence, leaving him handwritten notes with quotes she'd found meaningful, asking about his childhood on Earth, sharing Seraphian songs in her haunting melodic language, touching his hand gently when they passed in the corridors. She expressed care through connection, through vulnerability, through emotional intimacy. Marcus found himself drawn to both of them in different ways, and it terrified him. On the 6th day, the storm finally cleared enough for them to attempt repairing the sisters' escape pod beacon. The three of them trekked out to the crash site, and Marcus watched Lyra and Nix work together with seamless coordination, their different skills complementing perfectly. That's when it hit him, they were a unit, inseparable. Whatever he felt, whatever they felt, it couldn't break that bond. We could get the beacon operational in maybe 6 hours, Lyra reported, her breath misting in the cold air. A Seraphian rescue ship could be here in 3 days once we activate it. Marcus should have felt relieved. Instead, his chest felt tight. That's great, he managed. You'll be home soon. Nix glanced at Lyra, some unspoken communication passing between them. Is that what you want? She asked Marcus softly. For us to leave? He forced a smile. I want you to be safe. To get back to your people. Lyra stepped closer, her analytical mind clearly working through something. What if safety isn't the only variable in the equation? What if there are other factors to consider? Marcus's heart was pounding now. Like what? Like the fact that I've never met anyone who challenges me intellectually the way you do, Lyra said, her usual composure cracking slightly. You see problems differently. You make me want to be better, to innovate, to build things that matter. Nix moved to stand beside her sister, their shoulders touching in that way that showed their unbreakable bond. Like the fact that I've never felt so understood, Nix added. You appreciate beauty not just in art, but in ideas, in kindness, in sacrifice. You make me believe that the stories I love aren't just fantasy. You live them. Marcus looked between them, these two incredible women who'd crashed into his solitary life and turned it upside down. I don't understand what you're saying. Lyra took a breath. In Seraphian culture, when someone saves your life, there's a debt of connection. But this is more than cultural obligation, Marcus. In the days we've spent here, you've shown us what humanity really means, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived reality. Your courage, your curiosity, your capacity for compassion without expecting anything in return. You've seen us, Nix continued, not as aliens or curiosities, but as people. Lyra with her need to understand how things work, me with my need to understand how people work. You've made space for both of us exactly as we are. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. You're both incredible. Of course I see that. Then you should know, Lyra said carefully, that on our world, it's not uncommon for family units to be complex. Sisters who are close often choose to build their lives in parallel, to share important things. Nix reached out, taking Marcus's hand. Her skin was warmer now than that first terrible night in the snow. We don't want to leave. Either of us. And it's not because we owe you. It's because in 6 days, you've become essential to us in ways we didn't know were possible. Marcus's mind reeled. You're saying, both of you, we're saying we want to stay, Lyra clarified. We're saying that you matter to us, both of us. And we know it's complicated. And we know human customs might be different. And we're not asking for any decisions right now. But we needed you to know before we activated that beacon. Before we made the choice to call for rescue or, she trailed off. Or what? Marcus asked. Nix squeezed his hand. Or make this place our home, with you. If you'll have us. The three of them stood there in the snow, the weak sun of Kepler for to be finally breaking through the clouds, and Marcus felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't how he'd imagined his life going. He'd come to this remote outpost to escape complications, to find simplicity in solitude and research. But looking at Lyra's brilliant, hopeful eyes and Nix's warm, vulnerable expression, he realized that the best things in life were never simple. I need to understand something, he said slowly. This isn't just about gratitude, about the rescue. If you'd rescued us and been cruel or dismissive, or demanded something in return, we'd be grateful for our lives and nothing more, Lyra said. But you've been kind, patient, you've treated us as equals. You've shared your food, your home, your stories. You've asked about our world with genuine interest. You've made us laugh. You fixed my sister's necklace, Nix added, touching the delicate chain at her throat that Marcus had repaired 2 days ago when he noticed the clasp was broken. You didn't have to. You stayed up late using tools meant for equipment maintenance to fix a piece of jewelry because you knew it mattered to me. That's who you are. Marcus remembered that night. Nix had mentioned the necklace was from their mother, passed down through generations. Of course he'd fixed it. Family heirlooms matter, he said simply. Exactly, Lyra said. You understand what matters. That's rare, Marcus. In any species. He looked at the damaged escape pod, half buried in snow, then back at his outpost, visible in the distance, a small dot of warmth in an endless frozen landscape. He thought about the loneliness of the past 6 months, the sound of only his own voice, the meals eaten in silence. Then he thought about the past week, Lyra's excited explanations of Seraphian engineering principles, Nix's laughter when he'd tried to pronounce words in her language. The three of them working together to expand the hydroponics bay. The easy comfort of simply being around them. My contract here is for another 18 months, he said carefully. It's isolated. Beautiful sometimes, but harsh. The winters are long. We survived the worst of it already, Lyra pointed out. And now we have proper shelter. And someone who knows the environment. It would just be us, Marcus continued. The nearest settlement is 300 kilometers away. Supply drops every 2 months. A lot of time with just each other for company. Nix smiled. That doesn't sound like a deterrent to me. And when your contract ends? Lyra asked. What then? Marcus realized she was asking about the future. Their future. All three of them. It should have been terrifying. Instead, it felt right. There's a colony on Kepler for to see that's looking for people with multidisciplinary skills, he said. Engineering, xenobiology, cultural integration. I was thinking of applying. It's a long-term settlement position. Building something permanent. He paused. They value diversity. Human-alien cooperation. They'd welcome a team. A team, Lyra repeated, and her luminescent skin seemed to glow brighter. I like the sound of that. Nix stepped closer, still holding his hand, and reached for her sister's hand with the other, completing a circle. So we're really doing this? Staying? The three of us? Marcus looked at them both, these two amazing women who'd literally fallen into his life during a blizzard, and made his decision. Yeah, we're doing this. But we do it right. We take time to really know each other. We figure out how this works. We communicate. We respect each other's boundaries and needs. Deal? Deal. Lyra agreed immediately. Deal. Nix echoed. Then she grinned. Though I should warn you, Lyra gets very competitive about strategy games, and I sing in the shower, loudly. Are you sure you're ready for this? Marcus laughed, the sound carrying across the snow. I once spent 3 months in a research vessel with a crew that exclusively communicated in mathematical equations and interpretive dance. I think I can handle singing. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Interpretive dance? Long story. I'll tell you over dinner. They stood there for another moment, the three of them connected in the cold, before Lyra's practical nature reasserted itself. We should still repair the beacon, but modify the signal. Let my people know we're safe, but staying by choice. They'll send our personal effects and close our apartment on Seraphian Prime. Make it official. And I'll write to the colony board on for to see, Marcus added. Start the application process. For all of us. Nyx looked between them, her violet-flecked eyes bright with emotion. This is really happening. We're becoming a family. The word hung in the air, weighted with meaning. Family. Not conventional by any species standards, but real. Over the following weeks, they fell into a rhythm. Lyra optimized every system in the outpost until it ran like a dream, then started designing improvements to the colony they'd eventually join. Nyx created art from the ice formations outside, documented Kepler's unique ecosystem in a journal filled with sketches and observations, and slowly coaxed Marcus into talking about the loneliness that had driven him to the frontier in the first place. I didn't think I was good with people, he admitted. One night, the three of them watching the aurora-like atmospheric phenomenon that Kepler was famous for. After my dad died, I just closed off. Work was easier than connecting. You're good with us, Nyx said softly, leaning against his shoulder. Lyra sat on his other side, her hand resting on his arm. You're good with people who matter. Quality over quantity. That's not a flaw, Marcus. That's discernment. He realized she was right. He'd spent years thinking he was broken because he didn't want superficial connections, didn't thrive in crowds, preferred depth to breadth. But here, with these two, every conversation meant something. Every shared task was building something real. The response from the Seraphian vessel came 3 weeks after they'd modified the beacon. The captain was surprised but supportive, arranging for Lyra and Nyx's belongings to be shipped to Kepler for to be. Your family sends their love, the message included, and asks if this human knows what he's getting into with both Corvus sisters. Lyra had blushed at that, her glow turning faintly pink. Our family is enthusiastic, she explained. They'll want to meet you eventually. Fair warning, there are a lot of us, and they will have many questions. I look forward to it, Marcus said, and meant it. The response from the to see colony board was even better. They'd been looking for exactly this kind of team, humans and aliens working together, multiple skill sets, proven ability to handle frontier conditions. The offer came with housing, research grants, and the opportunity to help build a genuine multi-species community from the ground up. We'd start in 8 months, Marcus told them, reading the acceptance letter. After my contract here ends, they're offering all 3 of us positions. Lyra, you'd head their infrastructure development. Nyx, they want you for their cultural integration and education programs. Me for environmental management and xenobiological research. Nyx threw her arms around him in joy, and Lyra's rare, brilliant smile lit up the room. We're really doing this, Lyra said. Building a future, together. That night, as they celebrated with the closest thing to a feast the outpost's supplies could manage, Marcus looked at the 2 sisters who'd changed everything, and felt a profound sense of gratitude. Not just for their presence, but for the blizzard that had brought them together, for the chance to save them, for their choice to stay. I want to say something, he announced, standing up with his glass of synthesized wine. Lyra and Nyx looked at him expectantly. 6 weeks ago, I was alone, not just physically, but in every way that mattered. I'd convinced myself that was what I wanted, what I needed. Then you 2 literally crashed into my life, and everything changed. You've made me remember what it feels like to be part of something bigger than myself, to care about someone else's happiness as much as my own, to look forward to tomorrow because of who I'll share it with. His voice caught slightly. You've given me a family I didn't know I was missing. So thank you, for staying, for choosing this, for choosing me. Nyx was crying, not even trying to hide it. We're the ones who should be thanking you. You gave us our lives back, then gave us a reason to live them differently. You showed us what humanity really means, Lyra added, her analytical composure cracking to show the emotion beneath. And it's not about being the strongest or the most advanced. It's about being there when it counts. About kindness without conditions. About building something that matters. Marcus raised his glass. To new beginnings, to family, to whatever comes next, to us, Nyx said. To us, Lyra echoed. They drank, and in that moment, in a small outpost on a frozen world, on the edge of explored space, 3 people from 2 different worlds became something neither species had exactly anticipated, a family built not on tradition or obligation, but on choice, respect, and genuine love. The snow still fell outside, but inside, there was only warmth. 8 months later, when they boarded the transport to Kepler for to see, Marcus carried the photo he'd taken that first night. They'd all agreed to stay 3 faces, 3 different expressions of hope and joy, 3 people ready to face an uncertain future together. Lyra had framed it with a quote Nix had found in one of his books, written in elegant script beneath the image: "Family isn't always blood. It's the people who stood by you when no one else would, who saw you at your worst and loved you anyway, who built a home in your heart." As the transport lifted off and Kepler for to be grew small beneath them, Marcus sat between the 2 sisters who'd become his whole world, their hands intertwined, and knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they'd face them the same way they'd faced that blizzard together, refusing to give up, proving that sometimes the impossible becomes possible when you're willing to take a chance on love in all its unexpected forms. He'd found 2 alien sisters freezing in the snow, and in saving them, he'd saved himself. Now they were building something unprecedented, something beautiful, something that proved love wasn't bound by species or convention or expectations. It was bound only by the choice to show up, day after day, for the people who mattered. And that was a choice Marcus would make every single day for the rest of his life.